everybody, and welcome to the first episode of this Elm Creek series with Grober Gaming. To give you a little bit of information, what we're going to be doing this series is going to be kind of a semi-roleplay session with some time lapses in it, so that can keep it entertaining for everyone. The other thing too is we are playing on the hard economy. I have the game set up right now so we're starting out with what you would start with New Farmer, but we have no equipment. Oh, car just kind of flew by there. We have no equipment, and we're only starting out with $350,000 and our pickup here. Like I said, this is going to be kind of a semi role-playing series. The only other slight change I made, and we'll see when we get to the farm there, is that I switched the workshop that normally comes with it with the modded workshop from the mod hub, so that way we can work on our equipment and stuff in there. I personally feel like Giants dropped the ball not making it that way, but it is what it is. So a little bit about myself. I originally I grew up on a farm back in the day. My folks still farm. My brother farms with them, and they're in the dairy business, which is a very hard business to be in. It takes a lot of work, and you are completely married to that job. I've also been involved in agriculture for the last quite a few years. In most of my jobs, I've worked a variety of jobs, and I might talk to them about them a little bit, what I've done and such, and kind of what the differences are in my area of the states that we kind of do for crop methods and such, and we kind of make a little bit of an educational series in here. So let's get this series started right. I'll hop into the truck here. So the story is that one of my relatives, they finally decided to retire from farming, and they had an estate sale, and they decided to hang on to the ground. They're gonna let me farm it for quite a while. Who knows? I might be able to, they said they'll probably let me buy it off them. In the next few years, we'll see how how we do with our money management. So we're gonna swing by the farm here, and then we're supposed to stop in town and see someone named Chuck. He's the dealer that my uncle dealt with all the years, and the uncle kind of gave us like a little $350,000 loan to start out with, also to help us get us going. And he said after we stopped by the farm, to check in with a salesman named Chuck at the local dealership. And just as a side note, I'm also playing on PC with a gamepad controller, so if you kind of notice my steering's a little sudden, it's been messing with the controls yet. I had to reset them, and I haven't found that sweet point yet where it kind of is a little bit smoother. I might cut away here for a bit here and check the settings, and we'll be right back. You won't even notice. There we go. That's much better. Welcome back. So we just made it here to the farm, so kind of have a look around here quick before we head into town. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. Kind of replace the shop with the modded one from the hub. Just that way we have a place to work on everything and such, do vehicle maintenance. And this is where we'll be staying at for quite a while. So we'll just hop back into the truck here. And my uncle kind of left us a little bit of a starter crop, so to speak, to get us started on. So we can at least have a little bit of income our first year if we choose to sell it right away. But haven't really decided yet what we're going to do here. But let's head on into town here. Kind of noticed that building back there. He kind of said it's falling apart inside, so we might end up getting rid of that later on down the road. But I haven't decided what we're going to do with it or not, or if we're going to put anything there to replace it. Haven't really thought too much how we're going to be making our money. He's only left us kind of these 3 little fields. Everything else he's kind of sold and let go, just because this is kind of part of the acreages he's leaving behind. But yeah, so let's head on down the road here. The man we're supposed to be meeting up with was named Chuck, if I haven't said that already. And according to my uncle, he's quite the character, from what he said. So we'll see how he is. But he says he's a really down-to-earth, very good salesman. Here we are at the dealership already. Let's find a nice parking spot here. Good enough for me, so we'll head inside here, see if we can find someone to find Chuck, get us helped out, get us going, and we'll be right back. So just finished talking to Chuck in there. He said he's got a tractor for sale, which is pretty good to hear. He's helped me get my phone kind of set up too. He said there's a lot of work that can be done around the area. There's kind of a jobs app out there, like for custom work for either helping someone harvest their own ground, doing fertilizing, field work. So that will probably be most of our income for the net foreseeable future, I'm guessing. And he also kind of set us up with the online store app to look at everything that's for sale. So we'll go in here, and he's also made a very generous offer to us. There's some land, just open up the PDA here. There's some land next to it, just south of us here. So this is my uncle's farm. There's our 3 fields. And he said he owns plot 48 and he'd be willing to sell us it. I'm pretty sure he said the crop was ready to go too. Let's see here. We're pretty close ready to go. But yeah, he said it'd be probably around 50 grand. So I think that's what we're gonna do first is go ahead and pick that up. So yeah, he said he saw just a little under 50 grand to us. So we'll probably end up picking that up. And he says he owns the other plot, but he ain't quite ready to let go of it yet. So we'll end up picking that plot up. There we go. But he also showed us the online store app here. And he said there was a nice tractor for sale. And I've never driven a class before in real life, but I've always been interested. And it looks like it's got a front loader attacher on it already, which would be beneficial for us when we decide to get a front loader. But I think this is what we're gonna go with. But I think we're gonna upgrade the horsepower. 145 would probably get us by, but I can't. Seeing how we'll probably be using this tractor for quite a foreseeable future, I think spending the extra 20 grand to get to 185 will be worth it. I don't really want to go to 200. I kind of want to save that 10 extra grand for something else, hopefully down the road. And I think we're going to switch the tires out. I'm not sure. Kind of like the BKTs. Don't really need duals for anything. I don't think we're gonna. I think we're gonna go with the Continentals. Maybe I don't think we need to. I think we're gonna just get wheel weights on the back. I don't think we'll be pulling anything where we need really wide gripping tires yet. These should be wide enough. So I think. And we'll probably hold off on installing GPS just because we don't really need it yet, even though it'd be very beneficial to be more efficient so we have less overlap in the field. We can kind of control where we're driving in our own field, but I think this is what we're going to start with the 650 class. And he told me that it is used, so he said we'll probably have to go put some oil filters, do some general maintenance to it, so I think we'll do that when we get back, but he offered us a full fuel tank, but This is looking pretty sharp right now. Might remove that license plate though. We don't really need that. I think that's a previous owner's license plate, so when we get back to the shop, we'll pull that off too. It's looking pretty nice so far. I think one thing we should get is probably a front weight for it. And he said there was a wagon for sale, but I don't think we're gonna buy in it. I mean, it's a really good deal, but I think I kind of want. What's the smallest wagon they got new? Guess we'll need something to haul the new crop away. He said he was gonna lease us a combine too, so that we could lease a combine. I think kind of want to remove that. So, but I think we're gonna just go with the wagon. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go with the standard wagon. We'll keep the cover. I think I kind of want to go with the yellow cover. I like the yellow cover a little bit better, so. Let's change. Let's do random license plate number. Yeah. So 13 grand. I know it's but if we buy that bigger wagon, we'd be set for a while. But we would have to fix it up too, he said. I would want to get the wider tires so we don't. I think we'll just stick with the small wagon for now. Even though it probably makes more sense to buy it in the long run, but I think just we don't really need anything super big. And it's, yeah, we'll just stick with this for now. And then before I forget, I said I wanted to grab a front weight for the tractor. And then we'll have to go in here, pick that up, fire this thing up. It doesn't need too much work, which is good to see. We'll hook their front weight up here. We'll get our wagon hooked up here. Get this hauled back to the yard. Get the beacons going. Get our hazards just to be safe. When we get back to the yard, we'll go and we'll open up the app and we'll put in for combine lease. Chuck said it was going to be already available for us, so that's good to hear. So I think the first thing we'll do when we get back is we'll unhook the wagon. We'll pull this inside the shop. And we'll get the filters and oil change in it, get the general maintenance done, so she's ready to go for our first season here. And another side note, just to get out of the row pay perspective. Right now we're going to do 1 day months, and I eventually hope to switch to 2 day months, but we'll see how soon that even happens. Might be quite a while with the economy setting we're playing on, so back at the yard here. Let's see. There we go. Get the cover off. We'll just leave this in the shop. I have a tight space in here. I have quite the turning radius I thought it would, but it'll be fine. We'll make it work out in the end. So let's pull that in here. And then we'll start getting the oil changed here and get the filters and stuff done. But in the meantime, Chuck said he was gonna pick me up so that I can go back and grab that combine, start harvesting. I think he said he had beans out back here. So we'll just while we're waiting for him, let's just take a quick walk back here to our new piece of ground. Okay. So yeah, he's got some beans. It looks like guy was lacking on herbicide this year, so maybe that's why he was kind of all right with letting it go, so to speak. Yeah, the weeds kind of got bad. Did say he didn't really have as much time. He's been doing a lot more sales, but this is also his other piece of ground that he rents from someone. But yeah, I think we'll be able to make this work out. So we'll probably have to rent the combine for a few days. We'll look at the seasons. So the beans won't be ready for a few days. So I wonder if it's gonna pay to hang out. We'll be renting the combine for a few days, which will be kind of unfortunate, but then we'll have a good enough space in the barn here. But yeah, let's go up by the house, keep working on our tractor here till Chuck arrives, and then we'll be back. We'll see you guys back on the road when we're on the road with the combine. All right, so we're back. Chuck's got the combine set out for us. He says we just got to hook up the header and we're good to go. He says we're good to keep it for a few days. Kind of the general model they lease out quite a bit, but so we should be good to go here. Let's hop up in. Get this going. And we'll get the header. The header on here. Said we shouldn't need a trailer. It's going to be a little bit wider than it should be, but it's just narrow enough that we should be fine going down the road with it. Oh. Okay, we're good to go. Thought that car was going to come this way. Didn't want to really hold them up the best I can. But we'll get this driven back down the road here. We'll kind of stick in our center lane so that way we don't have to worry about any crazy drivers along the road trying to pass us. And oh, go over a little bit for that person. Kind of a crazy drivers here I've noticed in Elm Creek. I haven't really been in this area very much, so hopefully we don't have any accidents or issues with any of the locals crashing into them, because in reality, farming is one of the most hazardous jobs out there, with accidents happening all the time, especially when you start to think about it, where people start to get impatient with following a combine and such and driving down the road. But yeah, we're gonna another car here, get over a little bit. I'm gonna set up the combine to swath this wheat field. I don't know if we're gonna invest into anything yet. I know on the drive back, Chuck and I were talking that my uncle hasn't plowed in quite a few years, so all our fields are gonna need to be plowed. So I think we're gonna, instead of plowing, I think we're gonna rent a subsoiler. Combine going here. Start harvesting our wheat. But I think we're going to end up renting a subsoiler. And we'll end up ripping all the ground up, so we got to do all the ground here. I can't remember if Chuck said if we needed to do the ground we bought from him too. I don't think so. I haven't really... He was talking to me about the different tillage implements too that I could use. I haven't really decided what I wanted to use yet either. I was thinking maybe going to a disc harrow or kind of some relation that I've seen around this area that a lot of people have been doing. It's called like vertical till, so it It's not as deep as a tillage method, so my hope is we can avoid digging up with as much rocks, and then we can kind of help conserve the soil during the winter to keep it from erosion, especially in the rain and during the melt. That if we leave enough, like, kind of the organic matter on the topsoil, it'll kind of help keep that soil in place. I guess we don't need the beacons or hazards on anymore. We already made it, and we're gonna be keeping this combine for a few days until we can harvest the field that we bought from Chuck that's got soybeans in it. I haven't fully decided if I want to do something with the straw or not. I'm sure I can find a little bit of a market for it, but I just haven't decided if it makes sense. But I'm going to think on that. We'll do a little bit of a time lapse here. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Sweet redemption, I will never let you down. Will it ever get sunny? Oh, I wonder, honey, baby, how you make me sway. You say it will.
Here we are, about almost done with our first harvest. There we are. The first field is officially in the books for us. We didn't even get a full hopper, which is kind of disappointing, but fine. Just make sure we didn't miss any little streaks there. Nope, looks like we're good. So get the auger out here. We'll just drop it right in the pit with no reason to fill the wagon up and then just offload it right away. I think we're gonna hang on to it for now. Keep an eye on the markets around here. Don't know how the markets are exactly yet. So, and especially with us playing on the hardest economy, we'll have to keep a really close eye on everything. There we are. So I think we're gonna try and put this inside here for now, since it's a rental, and just can. Oh, there we go. Just barely fit it in here. It was almost like it was made for us. But we won't be able to afford a combine for quite a while. Ooh. Let's drop the header here. Kind of heard a weird feedback there. But yeah. Looks like the paint kind of wears pretty fast on there. But we'll just drop. We're good to go here. Let's head on over here. So, talking to Chuck, and while we were harvesting there on the phone, and let's get this repaired first, quick. And he says he's got a little coon ripper we can rent from him. So I think one of the few things we're gonna do before we finish this day out, we got the tractor fixed up. Get our beacons on. Head back there, grab the ripper. Well, I'll have to sit there and I think when we get there, we'll stop, head inside quick and talk to Chuck. Because I'm wondering if it's even worth running a baler, baling up that straw. We only got about 190 grand, and we still got a few pieces of equipment we want to invest to. We'll have to get a drill. I think we're gonna stick with kind of the cedar crops for now, so wheat, oats, that kind of things. Soybeans, and stick with that for now. I still haven't decided on whether or not if I really want to rent a baler and try to sell that straw, because my concern is that if we go to the work, we might not break even on it, so we'll just park this tractor right here for now. Shut it off. We'll head inside and talk to Chuck for a bit and figure out what we want to do, because if we're going to bale it, we're going to need a tray. We got a little trailer we can put it on. But yeah, well, we're going to discuss that with Chuck and see if it's worth trying. We'll see you in a bit. Alright, so after talking with Chuck, he said it cost probably $1,200 to $1,500 for me to lease a baler. Looking at the market, I don't think it's going to be worth it. Like $33 per 1,000 liters, and I just don't think it's going to pay off for us. Because if we got... Yeah, it's just not going to pay off for us, so I think we're just going to go ahead and rep the subsoiler and go that route for now. Get all our subsoiling done today, at least. The coon would be a nice one to rent, so I think we'll take him up on that. And then he said we'll probably we'll have some rocks to pick, and I think we'll end up renting. Says he's only got very few models of rock pickers on hand that we can rent. And he says that Scorpio would be a nice one just because they'll kind of, after we get done going subsoil in it, it kind of pulls through the soil, so it'll even pull some of the rocks just underneath the surface that we can't see and pull it through and pick it up for us. And that there's a place just down the road that'll take the rocks. He said they don't have much for them, but you know, we can't. Beggars can't really be choosers right now for it, so we'll probably end up renting that too at some point. I don't think we'll do it right away because well, one thing I forgot to check before I left, and he said we could look at the app here and see if the ground we bought from him needs plowing. Let's take that off. Yep. So it looks like once we're done plowing, we can return it right away. And the other piece of ground doesn't need lime either, so I'm pretty sure. Yep, we'll need to get a lime/fertilizer spreader. So let's hop back in here. Get our beacons and hazards on. Let's back up onto this here. Oh, not quite lined up perfectly. There we go. Take this back. Do a little bit of a time lapse here because we know we're going to need a fertilizer spreader. During the meantime, we'll look at our options on when we get back here. And we'll get all our fields plowed. We'll bring this back and return it, and then I think we'll end up buying our own fertilizer spreader, just because we'll be constantly using it. And when I brought up that I would need one from Chuck said that would be some pretty good money for us to do, is go out and do contracts for people and do some custom fertilizing. So that might be the route we go. But we shall see. Oh boy, I think this is gonna be a little. All right, there we go. Got it in. This is gonna be a little rough to see where we last go, so we'll see you guys in a bit. We'll just do a time lapse here until we're ready for the next part. We'll see you guys in a bit.
It's closing time, the bar is almost empty. It's me, the bartender, and the piano man. The last call for alcohol has come and gone. Hey buddy, time to go home. Sounds like a messed up plan. It's just the thought of you that's more than I can take. I guess I'm hard what made to break. Outside the night is warm and quiet.
Welcome back. As you see, we're just about to finish up plowing our last field here. And there we are. You can tell from the time lapse that first field was kind of hard to tell where I was at. Before we head back out here, we'll check our PDA, make sure we got the whole thing plowed, but I think we got it. And as you could also tell that I kind of didn't do the 3-point turnaround. I kind of just did a little loop and kind of had some overlapping issues. So looks like there's a little bit spot right there I missed and right there. So let's grab those quick just because we're going to need all the help we can get to bump up our yields. There was that. There we go. We'll head out to the middle of the field here. As you can see, we got quite a few rocks popping up here that we'll have to take care of. Must be right up here. Right here should be good enough. But yeah, I was kind of having a bear of a time here. There we go. Bear of a time to seeing where I was even at with my last pass, and I know what you're thinking. If I had GPS, that would fix all the issues, but drop $15,000 on GPS right now is just, I don't feel like is a wise investment. And basically, when I got back, I was kind of browsing through my mind, trying to think what kind of fertilizer spreader we want. If we want to just to get a small 3.1 for now, don't spread some lime in our fertilizer, or if we wanted to get a pull behind. But we'll get this returned here first. Right there. They said they'd take care of it and put it away, so put this off for a second. Subsoil return, so we don't get charged a daily fee for it. And then let's go look at some fertilizer spreader options. Looks like we don't have a whole lot of options. That's not too bad. I kind of would want the wider tires. Probably want to put the grates in there so that big chunks of lime and fertilizer don't get stuck. Get a cover for it. 25-ish. Then we got these two as well. I think Chuck was kind of hinting the Coon would be a good one. He said they got extensions. They're very well built. I don't think we need a trailer hitch option. Mud guards I would want just to kind of protect everything. Help keep the spin tables and such a little cleaner. Cover. Transport wheels. That would be nice to kind of help push around the barn and such. That's only 20 grand. He said that little pull behind Amazon doesn't have a really nice as a reach as this does, so I think we're going to end up going with this. I mean, we already got the front weight, so we'll be counterbalanced pretty well. And then I think we were figuring maybe 3 bags of lime, so those bought. There we are. So I think this will be the last thing we do for the day. For this episode anyways, so let's get this hooked up here. I'll have to make another trip back here. Build up here. There we are. Cover close. Head on down the road and do another little time lapse here quick to wrap us up. And then we'll see you at the end of it. We'll talk about a few things and we'll go from there. So we'll see you guys in a bit.
I hear the neon signs and the street lights buzz. The lovers, the one night stands, and the ones who buy it have all put to rest. One more day's fuss. For me, the thought of you is more than I can say.
There we are. We got our lineman done. As you probably noticed, I had a little bit of an accident. Was kind of concerned what the dogs were getting into, so I took my eyes off the road and kind of bumped the neighbor's fence. Luckily, nothing was damaged, but I'll have to head over there and talk to him later and kind of let him know what happened and make sure if there's anything I gotta do to reimburse them for the damages done. But otherwise, I think we got a pretty good start today. Um, First thing I want to do is thank you all for watching. Please leave a comment. Let me know how the sound quality, everything is. This is the first recording session, so if I need to make adjustments, let me know. I can go ahead and do that. If you're enjoying the content so far, a subscribe would be great. And I'm probably gonna wait a few days after this episode just to make sure that all the sound quality is right. And if anyone has any comments or suggestions about it, I can get that fixed before the next episode. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. And I want to thank you all for watching.